Have you ever imagined waking up one day to find that the vast, endless deserts of our planet had completely vanished, replaced by lush, green rainforests? What would happen to our world if the driest, hottest places suddenly became alive with towering trees, rushing rivers, and endless rain? Would humanity celebrate or struggle to survive in this new, unpredictable Earth? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a single journey into the world beyond logic. Let's begin with the most obvious change: climate. Right now, deserts play a key role in balancing Earth's temperatures. They are like giant, sandy heat reflectors. Without them, the planet's overall heat would begin to drop. Why? Because rainforests absorb sunlight differently and release massive amounts of water vapor into the air through a process called transpiration, which cools the atmosphere. But this cooling effect would come at a cost. Imagine the Sahara Desert, currently the size of the entire United States, suddenly becoming a massive rainforest. The amount of water vapor released would be staggering, causing a surge in rainfall across Africa, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. Some regions would be drenched constantly, while others would experience flooding so severe, entire cities could be swallowed by the rising waters. Now, let's talk about the oceans. The balance of wind and temperature that drives ocean currents would be completely disrupted. The hot, dry air that normally rises from deserts helps power global wind patterns. If that air became warmer and wetter, rising from the new rainforests instead, it could shift critical currents like the Gulf Stream, which is responsible for keeping Europe relatively warm. Without that delicate balance, places like London or Paris could face freezing winters unlike anything they have ever seen before. And what about life itself? In today's world, deserts are home to unique and incredibly adapted creatures like camels, scorpions, and desert foxes. If those deserts turned into rainforests overnight, many of these species would struggle to survive. Camels, for example, have humps to store fat for long journeys without water. In a rainforest full of rivers and streams, that remarkable adaptation becomes completely useless. Some desert animals might find a way to adapt, but many would vanish forever, their unique evolutionary stories erased. On the other hand, millions of new species of plants, insects, birds, and mammals would thrive in this new, green environment. Just imagine vibrant parrots flying over what used to be the Arabian desert, or jaguars silently roaming in places that were once scorching sand dunes. The biodiversity of Earth would explode, but it would come at the expense of entire ecosystems that no longer exist. It would be a trade-off of cosmic proportions. Now let's consider human civilization. Many of the world's biggest cities were built near or within deserts. Cairo, Dubai, Riyadh, Las Vegas. These bustling metropolises would be transformed overnight. Instead of endless sand dunes on the horizon, their skylines would be framed by a dense, impenetrable jungle. For agriculture, this sounds like a dream come true: fertile soil, constant rain, and endless water supplies. Global food production would skyrocket, and world hunger could potentially become a thing of the past. But it's not that simple. With rainforests come new, unseen dangers, deadly tropical diseases spread by mosquitoes and other insects. Malaria, dengue fever, and countless unknown viruses could spread like wildfire into areas completely unprepared for them. Imagine a city like Dubai, no longer battling sandstorms, but facing swarms of insects carrying dangerous new diseases. The public health crisis would be unimaginable. The global economy would also be turned completely upside down. Many desert nations, particularly in the Middle East, rely on oil exports to power their economies. If their land becomes a dense rainforest, oil extraction could become nearly impossible. The ground would shift, pipelines would collapse under the weight of vegetation and wet soil, and global energy markets could face total chaos. On the other hand, industries like agriculture, lumber, and ecotourism would become trillion-dollar enterprises in regions that were once considered barren. A new world order of wealth would emerge, but what about the downsides we might not see right away? The desert ecosystem is not empty. It plays a vital, interconnected role in Earth's overall balance. Dust from the Sahara, for example, is rich in minerals. It travels thousands of miles across the Atlantic Ocean and acts as a natural fertilizer for the Amazon rainforest. Without this desert dust, the Amazon itself might slowly begin to collapse. So, in our attempt to turn all deserts into rainforests, we might accidentally destroy the very rainforests we already have. It's a classic example of unintended consequences on a planetary scale. And there's one more perspective to consider, the philosophical one. If deserts suddenly became rainforests, humanity would be forced to face a profound question: are we truly in control of this planet, or are we just passengers on a journey we don't fully understand? Earth was designed with contrasts: dry and wet, hot and cold, empty and full. Removing one of those fundamental extremes could unravel everything we thought we knew about balance, harmony, and survival. We would be living in a world of our own making, but one we might not recognize. If deserts suddenly became rainforests, the world would transform in ways both beautiful and terrifying. We would see a planet greener and more abundant than ever before, but we would also face new challenges unlike anything humanity has ever known. The real question is not what would happen to Earth, but whether we, as humans, are ready to adapt to a planet that looks and feels completely different. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think would be the biggest change? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more what-if scenarios. We'll see you in the next one.